Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boutique CEO. I am so excited. I am Christine Williams. I am here with you today on our weekly live. If you are here watching, come say hello. If you're on Substack, give me a hello in the chat. Would love to see you. Would love to know that you're here. We are going to be diving into some really cool stuff today, especially about things that I'm seeing in my business, things that I know that I'm having conversations with other people in their business too. So again, come on in, say hello, let me know you're here. Let me see. This is a little bit new for me, y'all. So hopefully you can still hear me. There you are. Okay, great. I'm going to try to figure out how we can also make sure that I can see the comments. And welcome. All right. So I'm Christine Williams. How are you? I am the founder of the Boutique CEO Business School, and I am going to talk to you today around something that I've been having lots of conversations with, and you're probably hearing this too or seeing this too. And it is really about what happens when you feel like social media isn't working anymore, right? And the truth is, you don't need to become an influencer to build a successful business. But unfortunately, that's kind of like what we're seeing happen in the market, right? It's like the people who are the loudest, the ones that are showing you their fancy cars, their $10,000 handbags, like those are the things that are getting attention. And so as you come in and join me, I'd love for you to just pop in the chat here, whether you're watching the recording or not. We love having you here and watch the recordings as well. I would love to know, how are you feeling about social media right now? Are you enjoying it? Are you frustrated with it? Are you feeling kind of tired? Are you confused? Do you feel like you're creating more content, getting less engagement? I know I've been feeling that. I've been feeling like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just creating for the machine lately, right? And I really want this to be an honest, transparent conversation. I think that is one of the things that I'm so passionate about, is not continuing to share things that not only don't work anymore, but also pretend that things haven't shifted or things haven't pivoted or things haven't changed. So I really want, this to be an honest conversation that I know so many of us are feeling. And I really want to also have a different conversation about visibility, because the truth is things have changed. And I've seen it in my business. I'm hearing it from my clients. I'm also hearing it from women who have spent years and years and years building and growing their business. So whether they are building an audience, whether maybe they started a Facebook group or Instagram accounts or have online communities. And what I'm hearing them tell me is that they're posting, they're creating valuable content, they're writing newsletters, they're making reels, they're going live. And yet, especially in Instagram and Facebook, fewer and fewer people seem to be seeing what it is that they share, right? I know for me, even, going live inside my Facebook group back in 2018, we had so much engagement, we had so much going on here, and yet fewer people are seeing it. And so typically the advice that you might hear when you are seeing that, or when you are seeing something that's not working, or maybe as many people aren't actually seeing you, is to create more, right? Post more, create more content, improve your hooks, start posting 10 times a day, show more of your personal life, right? Create more controversial content, right? All that stuff is going to have people like, oh, the clickbait. Jump onto the latest trend before everybody else does. And you know what? When I hear that and I'm looking at all of it, I feel so darn exhausted thinking about that. And I'm like, no, thank you. I'm a no for that. So I didn't come into business to be an entertainer, right? I didn't start my business to help women build and grow profitable six-figure, multiple six-figure service-based businesses, whether they're health coaches, life coaches, nutrition coaches, because they wanted to spend more time feeding the content machine. And I know that you probably also didn't become a coach, a healer, a practitioner, a consultant, or a business owner because you wanted to become a professional entertainer. You will not find me dancing on TikTok or lip syncing or, doing crazy things just to get attention. I'm here and you're here because we feel that we've got meaningful work to do, right? You want to help people. You want to help them to create transformation that makes their lives happier and healthier. And you also want to be well paid for your expertise. And we get to do that and have a business that actually supports our life, right? That does not mean, though, that you have to like be an influencer in order to do that, in order to help people, in order to be well paid, and in order to have a business for your life. But, and I really want to kind of put a little pin here, and this is really important. It doesn't mean that visibility no longer matters. Okay. I'm not here to tell you that social media is terrible, close it all down. So you can stop letting people know that you exist and somehow still build a business. I don't believe that's true. The right fit people for you are still going to need opportunities to discover you. The question that I want us to get clear about is and does social media have to carry the entire weight of your visibility strategy? And I really don't believe it does. I think things have shifted. I think things have changed. And in just a minute, I'm going to share what I feel has changed, especially when I began growing my business, helping others grow their business since 2018. So I want to show you tonight what visibility can look like when we stop treating post more as a complete business strategy. So here's what's changed since 2018. And let me know in the chat if any of this resonates with you or if you've seen this in your business too. When we talk about visibility, I think we also need to acknowledge why so many of us built our business around social media in the first place. And honestly, when I look back at 2018, social media really was working. Absolutely. If you were building a business back then, like I was, you probably heard the advice to create a Facebook group, post consistently, go live, grow a following, share valuable content. And I'm not saying that that's bad advice. I actually still think that that's actually really, really good advice. I taught some of those things too because it worked. Back then, you could create a Facebook group, invite people into it, go live regularly, build a highly engaged community, and all those things are still important. You could post on your personal page, you could post on your Facebook page, and you could reasonably expect a meaningful portion of your audience to see it. So again, I want you to hear me say that having a Facebook group, posting consistently, going live, and sharing valuable content is not bad advice. I think what we're missing is that these days, even when we are doing that, not as many people are seeing it. So, we could share valuable content without needing to turn every single idea into a reel, into a carousel, into a story, into a thread, into a video, and 17 versions of the same message, right? People were joining, and I know I was doing this too, joining online communities because they genuinely wanted to learn, connect, and participate. And I think that we have communities that are still doing a really good job doing that. And because there were fewer people producing content. So let's dive into this piece even a little bit more. It was easier back then to stand out simply by showing up and sharing something valuable because it was actually getting in front of people. And social media actually felt more social. It was a place where relationships were being formed, conversations happened, communities grew. But here's where the environment has started to change, and we're seeing this recently, especially in the age of AI. Businesses back then were told that content was the answer. So everyone started creating content. And then we started seeing the influencer economy, and that just like took off like crazy, right? This is when you saw short form video exploding, right? And now AI has made it possible for us to create a week's worth of posts in just a few minutes, right? So we're not experiencing any shortage of content, which really is information. As a matter of fact, we are experiencing an avalanche of it. And I know that you guys are seeing it and you guys are feeling it. Me too. So your thoughtful post, the post that you created to get attention, is no longer competing only with other coaches in your industry. Okay, it's competing with the breaking news, it's competing with celebrities, with influencers, with entertainment, with family updates, with cute animals, with viral videos, with advertisements, AI generated content, and everything else designed to capture attention. We didn't have to deal with all of that back in 2018. Now, here's what I want to say that I hope that you'll write down. That doesn't mean that your work is less valuable, not at all. It just means that value alone is no longer enough to guarantee getting in front of your ideal client or actually even having distribution, right? Second, having followers no longer means that these followers will see you. Okay. So the platforms that we're talking about have actually moved and changed from functioning primarily as social networks towards functioning as entertainment engines. Okay. In the early days of social media, your feed was more closely connected to people, businesses, and pages that you deliberately chose to follow, right? I remember teaching my clients and doing the same thing, that what you engage with is also going to engage with you. And while I still think some of that happens, I think a lot of what we're seeing is also a lot of things are popping up on our feed that we don't actually want. And there's a lot of ads in there, and there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of things that we're seeing that we didn't actually choose to see. And so we're bombarded by all this extra information. And what is getting the most visibility is actually the entertainment. Right. As a matter of fact, the founder of Instagram, or one of the Instagram executives was sharing that the intention is to entertain. And so the accounts that are going to get the most visibility are going to be the ones that are in the entertainment industry, right? Something that is going to keep people on there longer. Because if you're watching it and if you're entertained by it and you stay on it, then there's more of an opportunity for an ad to come across, which is going to have you buy, right? So today, our platforms are actually making far more decisions about what each person actually sees, right? But the algorithm is still deciding whether or not your content is actually appearing in front of the people that are actually raising their hand, right? So at the same time, and I know this is a lot, you guys, I'm feeling it. People are increasingly being shown content from accounts that they have never actually wanted to follow. I see it every single day when I am on. I'm like, I don't even know who this person is, but they're doing jumping jacks here, or they're doing this thing here, or there's, all this other stuff going on in the background here. I don't even know who they are, right? So while we know that being visible can create an opportunity for discovery, it also means that having a following doesn't necessarily mean that those are the right people. Okay. And I really want to make sure that you get this, because I don't believe that those of us that are building purposeful and profitable boutique businesses where we like to create an amazing income, having time freedom and everything, is about getting more followers. Because the truth is, more followers does not actually equate the right people that are actually following you. Okay. So follower count is actually becoming much less meaningful. It's a less meaningful measure of whether you've built an actual business asset, right? We see this all the time. Influencers that are showing up, that are sharing, again, the fancy cars, the $10,000, handbags, are actually showing up, and they've been selling things because they are influencers, right? And they've built an audience on the platform, and they've got lots of followers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have an amazing business, right? It just means that they are entertaining you to get your attention. Okay. The other thing that I want to share is that when we don't actually own the relationship, right? We don't own any of these platforms. We don't own YouTube. We don't own Facebook. We don't own Instagram. We're actually renting space there. When we don't own those spaces that we're showing up in, you also don't control access to it. So you don't control who sees you and actually what you see too. Third, social media, again, I'm coming back to the entertainment driven piece. People want people to stay on the platform for as long as possible, which means that the content that gets rewarded the most often is the content that quickly captures attention, keeps people watching, keeps people clicking, keeps people commenting, keeps people scrolling, and more importantly for them, keeps people buying. Okay. So the content that holds people's attention is not always the same type of content that we need to build trust or help someone actually make a thoughtful decision about hiring a coach, hiring a practitioner, or a consultant. And this is where I see so many business owners getting so confused. They assume that if a reel has hundreds or thousands of views, that it must be helping the business, right? Or if a thoughtful post has very little engagement, that somehow it might not be as valuable. Neither is true. A piece of content can actually perform really, really beautifully and do very, very little for your business. Another piece of content could reach maybe only 50 of the right people that can actually create 3 conversations that can lead to actually paying clients. So hear me say that platform performance and business performance are not the same thing. Okay. And I really think that we need to differentiate that and be really, really clear of that so that we can see that there are things that we can do beyond social media in order to create an amazing business that is actually here to create the impact in the lives of the people that we want to transform as well. Okay. Fourth, the amount of content expected from business owners today has actually become unsustainable, right? I actually saw somebody recommending that you should be posting 10 times a day. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot. Imagine having to create content for 10 different posts a day, right? So the job has actually shifted from use social media to support your business to build a full-time content production company alongside your actual business, right? And especially with business owners like you and me who have a lean team, maybe a part-time VA, maybe a few people that are supporting you on the back end of the business. This is a completely different ball game now, and it comes with actually a very, very different expectation of the way that we actually want to show up and run our business. And I know for me, I asked myself the hard question this too. I'm like, am I just now creating content for the machine, right? Am I just creating content for the machine? And I'm just a no for that. Okay. So you don't actually need to build a media empire before you're allowed to actually help people. And I'm going to share with you what do we do instead. Okay. In just a minute. Fifth, and this is the fifth way that things have changed. People are consuming more information and they're trusting less, right? They're seeing a lot, they're consuming more, they're hearing more, there's more information, we're being bombarded with this, but our trust has not increased, okay? And it's because we are seeing more claims, more promises, more experts, more polished brands, and more manufactured authority than ever before, right? We just don't know what to trust anymore. If so and so says that she's doing the thing, is she even a real person, right? And so it's not that, our customer is not even necessarily looking for information, right? Our customer, our client can find any piece of information, right? She can Google things, she can Gemini things, she can ChatGPT things, she can go to the library and get a book on things, right? Here's what our people are actually looking for. And what they're looking for is discernment. They are looking for context. They're looking for a trusted perspective, right? That's something that AI and Google and all these other, search engines actually can't do. They can give us strategy, they can give us information, they can give us all of these things, but they can't actually help us put it through a correct filter to discern whether this is the right thing for me to do now or whether this is something that is actually going to work. So what are our people looking for, especially in the transformational coaching era and the transformation coaching market, is they are looking for a trusted perspective, okay? They want a real relationship. They want a place where they can spend enough time with somebody to actually decide, do I believe this person? Does she understand me? Do I even trust her approach? Is this something that I might even want to try? Does this person even have real experience, or is she just showing me a fancy car and a fancy handbag, right? Is this somebody that I would actually want supporting me? Okay. That kind of trust is not built through 15-second pieces of content. This is why we have to go beyond social media, beyond those attention grabbing 15-second shorts, and talk more about what is driving that trust, those relationships, those conversations. And this is why long form content, conversations, lives like I'm doing here with you today, right? This is not like a 15-second clip. This is actually something that is giving you value, helping you see me, decide whether you trust me. Is this something that you want to learn more about? Are you leaning in? Are you deciding that I'm for you? I'm not for you. Either way is fine, right? It is why relationships, communities, and a hub has become so much more important. And I'm teaching my clients like this inside of both Six Figure Foundations and Activate Abundance Academy, And I've also been talking about a hub for quite a while now. Okay. So here's what I want you guys to hear me say. Again, I'm not saying close everything down. Social media didn't stop working. Its role that we're expecting it to play inside of our business has, though. Okay. Its job is to get attention. Its job is to help people stay on these platforms. Its job is not necessarily to build trust and relationships and conversations, which is actually what moves somebody from being a viewer to actually somebody becoming a paying client. So when I hear people say they've posted, they're sharing things, they're showing up every day, and yet they don't have paying clients, we have to remember that posting is a part of a larger visibility strategy. It is not the visibility strategy. Okay, there is a piece that can help, but we also need to make sure that we are taking people through into this next piece, which I'm going to talk about in just a little bit, which is where we are inviting people into these deeper experiences, being able to experience who you are, what it is that you do in long form content, in the lives, in the relationships, in the conversations, and actually in being a real person. So even though the environment may change, and it has changed, what we get to do is not just work harder to do more of the things that, was the old strategy, right? We get to evolve the strategy here. And so this is where strategy has been evolving. And I want to share with you how I've evolved and how I'm teaching my clients to evolve. Social media can absolutely still help people discover you. Okay. It can still kind of start the conversations, right? If someone discovers you, comment, you can kind of comment back with them. It can introduce somebody to your ideas, right? If they see it, right? And it can still be a part of what we like to call, or what I like to call, visibility rooms inside your business. But it should not be expected to carry the entire client creating ecosystem. So I'm going to share a little bit more about what this is. What is the client creating ecosystem? So I'm not telling you to disappear. I'm not telling you to shut it down and just go away. But also the answer is not to spend your entire life in content creation mode either. The answer, and here's what I really want you guys to get, I'm going to slow this down a little bit, is to build a more diversified relationship driven visibility strategy and give the people who do discover you a place to come closer. This is where your hub is so, so important. Okay. So what's your hub? Your hub can be, multiple places. For me, my hub started in a Facebook group, right? And so I still have my Facebook group. I still have relationships there. I'm not closing that down. Okay. But where our hub is starting to show up now is in places where more people can experience more long form content. Okay, so I shared a little bit more about what long form content can be. Okay, a hub is where people get to spend more time with you. And this is really, really important because we want to move past, a 30-second, 15-second reel or story so that people can spend more time with you, with your ideas, with your values, with your voice, and most importantly, with your body of work. Okay, so we know that we might get briefly noticed, but your hub, right? When somebody briefly notices you, we want to bring her in your hub. This is where she actually begins to know you, right? So it could be a place like Substack here. It could be your publication. It might still be your Facebook group. It could be a podcast, right? But is a the specific platform matters less, right, than the actual function of it, right? So what's the function of our hub? It allows people a consistent place to return to so that they can continue to experience you over a period of time, right? So let me give you an example. If I was to do a talk on stage somewhere in person, great, I'm getting visibility, right? It's not on social media, it's in real life on visibility, but where are people going to continue to interact with me after that talk is over? Right? If I don't have a hub where people can actually come and continue to interact and continue the conversation, then it is just like using social media to get attention, but not having a place where you can actually begin to nurture those relationships, give people value where they can decide and make conscious decisions about whether they want to continue to work with you. Okay. So we need a consistent place for people to come to that allows us to go deeper than just the caption, deeper than just the reel, and help people see your method, your process, how you think. And, I don't know about you, but I really want to see somebody. I want to hear their voice. I want to see what they look like. I want to experience their energy, right? Why? Because it helps me understand what they believe. It helps me see how their work might be different. And it also helps me see what becomes possible when I step into their world, right? And people are doing a lot of that now. So people might not be commenting, but they are still watching, right? We want to give them a place to step in, which is our hub, so that now we can start engaging with them. They can feel safe to engage, they can feel safe to comment without being sold something right off the bat. They can lean in and decide if what it is that you're sharing makes sense for them, right? So again, I am not leaving social media. I don't want to, again, make the mistake of saying, get caught up in all of this fear mongering of social media doesn't work anymore. But I do believe that it is really, really important that you decide where you actually want to have those deeper relationships and the actual role that social media is playing. Okay, so in my business, I'm actually moving the heart of my own business here on Substack. Okay, I'm changing the role that social media is actually playing in my business because things have changed. It doesn't play the same role as it did in 2018, based on what I just shared with you. Okay, I want my most important ideas and my business to be in front of people for a longer period of time. I don't want it to disappear right after a day. Okay, I don't want the most important ideas in my business to disappear underneath the algorithm in 24 hours, right? I want a place where my articles, where my long form content, where my podcast episodes, my lives, my conversations, my body of work, my joint lives with people that are also delivering value, where all of that can live together. And I really want people to be able to find me through an article than to actually have to spend several hours, of time, going through all of these 15-minute shorts. Okay. So here's three different kinds of experiences that I want to help you, create this meaningful content with your people and with your work so that you can also recognize that they actually are coming closer, right? So again, this is a completely different relationship than just getting another follower. Okay. Again, we want people to move from just, yeah, that was really cool, that was really cute, yep, like heart, and keep scrolling, to leaning in to want to actually discover your work, to listen to several of your conversations, to understand what it is that you actually believe, to trust the way that you're actually approaching whatever it is that you're coaching people on, whether you're coaching them on fitness, nutrition, life coaching, spiritual coaching, transformation, right? And the beauty of this is that you don't need a giant audience for this. You need the right people to have enough meaningful contact with your work to recognize where they want to go. So, three different kinds of experiences your business needs. I'm going to make this more short and sweet since we're coming up against time here. Your business actually needs three different types of experiences. Number one is the discover me content, right? So this is going to look like the short form content, right? The social post, the Substack notes, maybe even a podcast interview or speaking referrals. Its primary job is to help people discover you. It's to create awareness. Okay, those are great. Those are our kind of visibility content. Okay, it could also be participating in aligned communities. It could be sharing ideas. It could be showing up in a search. It could be networking. It could be referrals. It could be speaking. All of these things are fall underneath the umbrella that I like to call our visibility room, which helps people find you. Okay, but we don't want to stop there, my friends. The next piece is how are you helping people spend time with your thinking? And this is where your hub belongs. And this is all about authority. So this is where we get to go deeper, right? This is where it could be a Substack article, a podcast episode, a longer video, right? Like you're seeing me do this right now. This is a much longer video. This isn't just like a 5-minute hack. a thoughtful teaching inside of your community. As a matter of fact, last week I just did a 4-day masterclass on building a real boutique business, and every day gave somebody incredible value. And those 4 days were, oh my gosh, were more and gave people more value than the last course or program that they created. Okay. But our authority content is really important. It's not just about giving people more information. Okay. Hear me say this, and I'm going to underline this. This is not about, let me just go into ChatGPT and create all of this content and just give people more information. Mm-mm. This is about helping people understand how you think, helping people understand how you think and how you can actually help them get results. Okay. Number three, and this is one that so many of you that are trying to get to your first six figures, or maybe you've been in business for a while and you're making multiple six figures, but things have plateaued or gone backwards. And these are what I like to call nurture experiences. And I've been teaching nurture events since 2018 because this is what I like to call the experience me content. Okay, this is where people have a deeper, more immediate experience of your work. It could definitely be, again, like a live, right? Like maybe you've heard me, one place and you heard me on a podcast and now you're coming and you're experiencing me in this live. It could be a monthly workshop, right? It could be a multi-day event like I did last week. It could be a Q&A. It could also look like an assessment or an audit that you do with somebody. It could be an in-person talk, right? These are very specific experiences that allow people to hear you coach, teach, answer questions, respond in the moment, right? You can also come back into the comments as well and help people experience what it actually might feel to be supported by you. Okay. From there, then you can decide if it makes sense for someone to have a natural next step, an invitation to explore being supported by you. Okay. So, in what I like to call is my client creating ecosystem, there's actually four main things: attract, nurture, connect, and invite. Okay. So attract is what we started in the very, very beginning, where people were feeling like, I'm not getting clients, social media isn't working anymore. Well, social media falls under attract, which is the discover me piece, but it's only one of the four core revenue generators. Okay. So yes, attract creates opportunities for right people to discover you, but that's just one of four. Okay. Nurture gives them meaningful ways to spend time with you and experience your work. Connect moves that relationship then into more of a one-to-one experience where you are having a conversation, you're in a meaningful conversation with them. And then invite, which is the final one that so many people are leaving out, is actually giving them a clear, thoughtful opportunity to take the natural next step to explore having your support. Okay. So here's where you can kind of discern where something might be breaking down. Okay. I want you to ask yourself this: are enough new, right fit people discovering you? Once they find you, though, is there someplace that they can go to so that you can take them deeper? Are you creating experiences that actually build trust? Are you having personal conversations with people? Are you clearly inviting somebody to explore working with you in an offer? And when we're talking about offers, is your offer designed around something that your clients deeply want? Not just a nice to have, but something that actually solves a real problem that they say that they're having. Okay. This is so much more useful when we can discern kind of where is our client creating ecosystem breaking down. And when we're clear there, we can stop spinning trying to solve the wrong problem. So if you are trying to get more client conversions from social media, you actually might be solving the wrong problem. Instead, I really want you to take a look at your whole ecosystem. Do you have a working ecosystem that's not just post more, post more, post more, but actually helps you get discovered, help, be visible, absolutely, but move them through these next pieces that they actually need to be going through. All right. If this sounds like something that you would love more support around, if you want to have a quick conversation or a chat, I would love to invite you into a boutique CEO audit. Totally free. There is no pitch with this. This is my way of actually taking you from a nurture experience, right? Right here. We're having a nurture experience here, one to many. I'm giving you value, I'm sharing. Now, an audit is simply connecting. There is no invitation on an audit. It's helping me to answer your questions to help you discern where is your ecosystem breaking down and what do we need to do to get it working well. So if this is something that you would like my support around, I have a few 20-minute spots available, completely booked this week, but there are some spots available in September. Just comment audit, and you can either comment audit here on Substack, or if you're watching this on YouTube, comment audit in the comments. If you're watching this in my Facebook group, comment audit. And if you are seeing this in one of my email newsletters, go ahead, reply back, comment audit, and I will be happy to hop on a quick chat with you because I don't want you spinning and trying to solve the wrong problem, right? Again, social media has shifted. And so it's shifted in the role that it actually plays in our business. It's not necessarily bad. We don't need to shut it all down, but we do need to be really, really clear about the role that it plays within the entire client creating ecosystem, right? It's not 2018. We are not creating a post and converting somebody right from a post. And I know many, many coaches that actually used to teach that. It was like, let's get your messaging right. Let's create the right content, the right messaging, and then your person will automatically buy from that. And I'm here to say that that is all still part of the attract. Your content is still part of attract. You want to make sure that the content that you're sharing is also moving somebody deeper with some long form content, giving them an experience, allowing them to really experience you, hear you, and then decide if you are somebody that they want to continue to have support with. All right, my friends, let me know what part of your ecosystem you would like more support around. Is it the attract component? Is it the nurture? Is it the connect? Or is it the invite? I would love to hear. All right, my friends, I hope you have an amazing Tuesday. I will see you next week, next Tuesday, 4 o'clock for the Boutique CEO podcast. And again, let me know if you're watching the recording, definitely say hashtag recording in the chat if you're seeing this, and let me know. I would love to hear from you. Come say hello. I promise it'll be me reaching back out to you. It will not be a bot. It will actually be a real person, and I can't wait to hear how this has supported you. All right, my friends, take care. Bye.